You are listening to the Next Play podcast, the playbook for high-performing leaders who want to exceed their full potential. From walking on the Ole Miss football team at 5'7", 150 pounds and earning a full D1 scholarship, to coaching thousands around the world and working with massive organizations like IBM. I've learned countless lessons that I'll be sharing right here with you. Join me as I interview some of the most successful people so you too can learn how to focus on always moving forward by deciding, planning, and executing on the next play relentlessly. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of accountability, right? So one of the coolest things that we've discovered, and this is from a study that I'm going to share with you in a little bit, is that you can drastically increase your success rate to 95%. Literally increase your success rate by 95%. Absolutely unheard of. It's insane. And so today I'm going to share with you why goals don't work. And I used to be a huge advocate of goals. I'm going to share why they don't work, what actually works, and 3 types of accountability. Most people only will ever share with you 2 types. We're going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you 3 types, and then how to get started right away. So it's pretty insane, like increasing your success rate by 95%. When people say writing down your goal and looking at it every day is 42%, which is still crazy. So let's dive right into this because obviously it's super powerful. Goals don't work. Let's just be clear. I was the biggest advocate for the last 6-7 years on goals. I spoke on many different stages and I talked about goals just like most speakers do. And I was wrong. I was dead wrong. And I was constantly getting like, hearing the same things. Hey, I've set goals and most people were just never going after them or never achieving them. And that drives me absolutely nuts. Like it drove me through the freaking wall. And so it was really about finding a way to help people achieve their goal, right? Not just their vision or what it is that they want, and by not just writing down your goal. And what happens is a lot of people, they write down their goals and they feel lost. They feel like failures because they don't achieve them. And I think everybody here on this call can relate to where you've even written down your goals, you put them on the wall, you put them in different places and you never got them. It's very demoralizing. You feel like a failure. You're constantly having to face fears of some sort. And so what's interesting is in this study I'm going to share with you, they found that it takes 10 unsuccessful attempts on average at a resolution before you either give in or you finally make a change of some sort. That's crazy. 10 unsuccessful attempts at a resolution before either giving in or finally actually making a change. And so this is why goals don't work. People can't look at themselves in the mirror and say, I failed. And 99% of the time can't hold themselves accountable. So what actually works? Like, let's dive into what actually works. And what works is accountability, right? And I'm going to share with you this study. It's absolutely nuts, but here's how accountability works. All right. There's undeniable evidence to suggest that adding accountability to goal setting can make all the difference to success, right? It's undeniable. There's undeniable evidence that states this. And if you look at any successes that you've had in your life, typically you had somebody involved, pushing you, guiding you, helping you, getting you to this end result, more than likely, right? Can you do it on your own? Yes. Just your odds are so low, it's insane, which I'm going to share with you. So let's talk about the study. The American Society of Training and Development, it's called the ASTD, found that 65%, let me see if I actually have this. Yeah, here we go. 65% of their participants completed a goal if they asked someone to hold them accountable to their goals and fully committed to accomplishing their project with their accountability partner. 65% completed. Here's what's crazy. 95% of people successfully met their goals when they did everything above and attended a specific appointment with their accountability partner or coach to discuss their progress and success. What's going well, what's not going well, how do we get better? Whatever the areas that you're being held accountable to. That's crazy. 95%. And people don't realize this, and they don't see the value, right? And so I'm here to share with you that there's immense value in this, whether you do it with anybody else, it doesn't matter, right? The fact is, I want you to get and achieve what you want, or else that's why you're here, right? So here are some insane statistics from this study. 10% of a success rate. First of all, I'm not a big bullet point person. I'm really not. I think you all know that by now, but I just have to share these numbers because they're absolutely insane. So 10% if all you have is an idea, 25% if you decide to take action, just taking action, 40% if you have a deadline, 50% if you have a step-by-step plan for how to meet your goals, 65% if you commit to someone that you'll meet your goals, and 95% if you have a specific accountability appointment with an accountability partner. That's crazy. 10% to 95% by just putting someone there in place. Who knows what the hell is going on? That's also probably really important. Is just knowing what the heck is going on. So let's clear some things up really quick, because I think a lot of people really actually don't even know what accountability is. They don't understand it. They don't know how it works, and their expectations are done for you. Okay. So there's services that exist that they're called done for you services. And there's services that exist and they're called done with you services. Okay. There's things, for example, like fitness, where you can't lift the weight for someone. You can't eat the food for somebody. So the whole done for you option is irrelevant, right? Now, for example, if you are in sales, right, and you have somebody who handles your inbound emails, that's a done for you you're paying for, right? If you own a business and you have, you're paying a company to do something for you, that's a done for you service. All right. But for all the things in your life that you can't have done for you service, you have done with you service, like health and fitness, for example, or even relationships. Nobody can do the relationship for you. So this is where accountability comes in. So what is accountability? Accountability is an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for yourself. So let's just talk about for you, for example. I want you to think about you right now, and not holding someone else accountable, but you. And that's the willingness, the obligation and willingness to accept responsibility for yourself. Okay. For your success, for your lack of success, for living the life you want to live versus not living the life you want to live, looking the way you want to look versus not looking the way you want to look. All right. That's number one. Number two, and that's to account for somebody's actions or decisions. So when it's about you, it's responsibility, right? Accountability is responsibility for you. When it's for somebody else, it's you're holding people accountable to their actions and decisions. Accountability is not this. Pay attention to me, because this is what people think. Accountability is not holding somebody's hand all day, every day. Okay. Make sure you get up early. Did you get up early this morning? Did you eat what you're supposed to eat? Did you work out? Did you get to work on time? That is not accountability. And this is expectations that people have. And it's stupid, because it's not realistic, and you're not improving that way. You're not going to improve if somebody's just holding your hand all day, making sure that you're getting to this end result. No, it's holding someone accountable to the decisions and the actions that they take. It's fairly simple. The decisions and actions that they take, right? So here are the three types of accountability. And then I'm going to share something really cool with you. So there's three types of accountability that are really important. Everybody's going to teach you that there's internal accountability and there's external accountability. What do I mean? Internal accountability is that you, as the goal setter, take your goals seriously and make yourself fully committed to them and accountable for them. Okay. That is what most people think accountability is. That's what most people think the end result is. So I'll give you an example. We talk to people all the time and they're like, hey, I want to get to a point where I hold myself accountable and that's the end game. And I'm like, dude, that's like trying to end COVID forever. Like, I don't think it'll ever go away forever. So it's an unrealistic goal that you're never going to achieve, and nobody will tell you this. And I don't know why. Like, you're never going to fully win with only internal accountability. Ask Michael Jordan, ask Tom Brady, ask Steve Jobs. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is external accountability. Okay, and this is when you find somebody outside, family, friends, mentor, coach, whoever, right? This is when you find somebody from the outside and they're responsible for holding you accountable to what you say you want to accomplish. All right. So those are the two that people will share. They'll be like, hey, work on your internal, get an external, work on your internal, get an external, but there's a third. All right. And this is what we call next play accountability. And it's both. All right. This is the best results come from people who do both internal and out external while also following some sort of framework. All right. So what I find in just my research in general is like a lot of people, Weight Watchers, for example, is they offer accountability, but there's no framework to it. It's just like, hey, we're going to do check-ins and this and that. But okay, so what else though? Like, what is the framework that you're following? How are you? The purpose of accountability is to eliminate fear from people's lives, eliminate failure from people's lives. And that's why we use this next play methodology, because there is no failure. There's only the next play. It's just the next thing. And so that's how you truly win more. Like, you can win again, as you can see in this picture, but you can win more when you do both. All right. So the question you have to ask yourself right now is, are you doing both? Do you have a system in place to hold yourself accountable? And is there someone else holding you accountable who has a system in place for you? All right. If you want to win at 95% of whatever you're trying to accomplish, and this is what is necessary in order to do that. Having a vision, yes. Having a goal, important, yes. But that's what's necessary to get to that next level. So why does this work? Like, why does it work? And I think this is really important to understand. Number one is improve productivity and performance. Like, your productivity and your performance is drastically going to increase when you have someone looking over you. For example, if you have like the Whoop, a lot of people have that. You can track stuff. But when you have somebody looking over you, your performance, you're going to run a little faster. You're going to lift a little heavier. You're going to make some more sales calls. That's just the fact. That's science. There's no way around that. It forces you to follow through and complete projects. Sometimes there's things where you're like, you wouldn't have done something, but you're thinking in your mind, I got to get this done because I got to talk to this person. I better finish it. So you get it done. It creates deadlines for a sense of urgency. You typically will do a better job of measuring and tracking results. This is if there's a good methodology in place. And you get honest ideas and feedback. And this is why I'm not a big fan of family members. A lot of people will go out and be like, oh, I'm going to get a family member for my accountability. Like, there's just not a lot of honest feedback when you go that route. So, but that's why it works, right? You get real, honest feedback and ideas. And ideas are really, really powerful. You don't know what you don't know. Right? You don't know what you don't know. So let's talk about how to get started with this. How do you get all three of these accountability? It doesn't matter like where anyone's on this call or watching, recording or whatever. It doesn't matter in whatever area of things you want to achieve. You have to have all three of these things. So if you're on this and you're like, hey, I want to get my sales numbers up. So let me ask you a question. What are the metrics that you're following? Who's holding you accountable externally, internally, and what's the methodology? I want to get a certain body. Who's holding you accountable internally, externally, and what's the methodology? It's fairly simple, right? And so let's just break through right now how to actually get started. What are the 3 steps? Always simple, 3 steps to get started right now. Like if you already know you're going to increase your success rate by not increase by 95%, but have a 95% success rate, then you probably want to get started right now. So number one, you have to accept and commit. This is probably the hardest thing for men. It's not about ego. And this is something I hear all the time. And actually, I've struggled with this in certain areas. I have a business coach, for example, and sometimes my ego gets in the way, and I do things where I shouldn't have because my ego gets in the way. And so I don't accept certain things, flaws about myself, because of ego. And so you have to accept, number one, where you are. You're not where you want to go, that, having external help is not a bad thing. And it's almost necessary. You can be in the 5%, but if you want to get there faster in less time, then having somebody holding you accountable is the name of the game. So no, you got to accept, and you got to take it seriously. Like you obviously got to take it seriously, or it's not going to work. The reason I say that, and it's cool, I'm glad you're here, Erica. It's like, if you have somebody who's like, I kind of want to do it, but like, we'll see. You're not going to be in that 95%. It's just not going to happen. Even with an accountability coach, right? If you choose not to do something and don't commit, you won't succeed. Like there's just no way about it, right? And you can't put that responsibility onto an accountability person. You just can't, because I can't. Remember, it's a done with you. We can't make you do something. We just can't. We can do everything in our power to get you there, but at the end of the day, you have to do it. You have to actually do it. So number one is accept and commit. So I challenge you, you got to accept and not let your ego get in the way. I'm telling you, so many people don't do it. Either one, they're not serious, or two, because their ego is too damn big. So get your ego out of the way. Step number two, select the right person and framework. Select the right coach and framework. Okay. You want to select somebody who's strong enough to give you honest feedback, no matter how much it's going to hurt your feelings or make you frustrated and angry. I have my call every Monday, at 4 p.m. and I get my ass whooped and he hurts my feelings and he frustrates me. Actually, the one thing that he does that drives me out of control is he comes up with something like that we can change, but it's not like an easy change. It's like a 3 weeks, 700 hours of stuff to do to get that, to make that improvement. And he's like, all right, I'll talk to you next week. And I'm like, it's so frustrating. But that's what I needed. I needed somebody to force me to do that, put the plan together, and then, hold me accountable to completing it by the following week. And then I bust my ass all week to make sure it happens. Right. So, you got to find someone who's okay with hurting your feelings, who's going to be direct with you. You got to be okay with that. You can't let somebody who will just, if you have somebody holding you accountable and they're okay with just letting stuff slide, run. Like that's not what you're looking for. Okay. You set your ego aside. You're fine with being drilled because you want to get to an end result. Right. This is why I'm not a fan of friends and family members and colleagues. Cause they're going to be soft on you. And even bosses, I've seen that happen a lot. And the problem with that is then there's this dynamic of pay, and it could be really bad. So my suggestion is finding someone out there who does this for a living or is some sort of mentor who's retired and is willing to drill you and put in the time. That's hard to find. However, it is an option for you. I just want you to have somebody. I don't really care, but avoid friends, family, and colleagues, please. You're going to be disappointed. And then lastly, with the framework, find something that resonates with you. Like a lot of the people that we work with are ex-athletes, understand the power of being relentless, understand that the play that just happened before doesn't matter. The most important play is always the next play and getting better. You don't need to score a touchdown every play, 3 yards of play. wins every single game. The people that resonate with that really resonate with our framework. So you have to find what really truly resonates with you. And step 3 is to execute, right? And so how do you execute? Let's break that down for a second, because a lot of people are like, what actually, like, do we meet once a week? Do we not meet once? Yeah. So you need to do weekly check-ins on some sort of KPI, how many calls you're making, what's your weight, what's your body fat percentage, what's your sales, what's your revenue, so you got to have some sort of weekly check-in. And that can be in text and over the phone, but you have to submit something to them. What are your numbers? What was it that you were trying to complete and accomplish? You got to have that. You got to send it over. If you don't have a measurable, it's worthless. Literally, it is worthless. You have to have some sort of measurable. All right. Then there needs to be some sort of systems and routines, right? You have to have some sort of routine around this. What is your specific routine? Are you meeting once a week? It better be once a week, every other week at the most. And you can do monthly as well, but there's got to be some sort of interaction at least every single week, and then systems around whatever it is that you're doing. If you don't have that, you're not going to be in that 95%. And the only reason you're on this call is because you want to be in the 95%. Okay. All right. The other thing is, when it comes to execution, is be prepared to be called out and be okay with it and not let your ego get in the way. Let me give you an example. So this occasionally will happen to me as holding other people accountable, or when I'm being held accountable, and he'll say something that frustrates me. And I'll be like, no, but I did that. And he's like, shut up. You're like, shut up. No, like, you're being called out right now. You didn't do it the way that it was supposed to be done. Like, be okay with it. Set your ego aside, shut up, and let's do it right. That's the old play. We're on to the next play. All right. And then the last piece of this is to have some sort of daily journaling, daily submission of habits, daily submission of a report of some sort, or a submission of a goal. You have to be submitting something at least 5 days a week. Okay. Like I said, this could be a habit. This could be some sort of journaling. For example, with my coaches, I have them submit a daily goals. I guess you could call it a report, but there's a section at the bottom where they talk about the things that went well and didn't go well. So it's journaling. It's literally daily journaling built into the day. And so if you're, and I know, Andres, you're here. If your leadership isn't having you submit something like that, you're missing out big time. Your organization is missing out big time. It changes the dynamic and the culture of an organization when everybody is bought in and doing that. And so the same thing goes for you and whoever's holding you accountable. If you're not journaling and submitting your goals and submitting your habits, whatever that is, daily, then it's very, very easy to fall off track. So you have your weekly, you have your bi-weekly, and you have your daily basically check-ins. That's what accountability is. And then when you meet and you discuss and you go over your check-in, it's holding you accountable, holding us accountable to the decisions and choices and actions that you made for the past, and then building out your next play for the future. That's accountability. That is, in a T, what accountability is. So many people get so, how does it work? How do I do it? How do I, it's too complicated. It's this. No, it's like very, very simple. Clarity, plan, accountability. Clarity, plan, accountability. Clarity, plan, accountability. That's all it is. And it never ends, over and over and over and over. All right. So my challenge for you this week, as you prepare, and I know we switched it up a little bit, as you prepare for the week, is number one, I want you to find someone to hold you accountable. I've already shared with you the type of people that are good, and I've shared with you the type of people that aren't the right people. And I'm sharing this with you based on experience and based on what we've seen with our clients and the stories that they've shared and the research that we've done. Okay. What works and what doesn't work. Okay. So find someone to hold you accountable. Number two, you got to accept and commit. Like, I need you to accept today that you're like going to set your ego aside and say, I don't have to do this on my own. I don't have to do this on my own. It's very hard for men to do. This is an extremely, extremely challenging thing for men to do. But I'm telling you, the second you do that, you will lift a ton of weight off your shoulders and realize that there's people that want to be there with you and watch you succeed and help you succeed. And it's a very freeing feeling. And then number three, execute. It's really that simple. Find someone, accept and commit, and execute. Let's go. Like, that is the process. Don't overthink it and watch. You could be in that 95%. Like, literally, why can't you? I'm going to come back here to the beginning. Why can't you increase your success rate to 95%? I know there's two people, because on this call that I personally work with, that are getting there. Increase your success rate by 95% by having somebody in your corner working with you to get to an end result. And it's so much easier. It's freeing, much weight lifted off your shoulders. So that is what I have for you today. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Next Play podcast. If you liked the show, make sure to leave us a review. For more resources, visit relentlessuniversity.com or download the free Relentless University app. And if you're interested in having me speak at your next event, visit relentlessrichie.com. Until next time.